thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras here with ILTV's Morning Briefing.
The Israeli Knesset legalized over 4,000 settlement homes in the West Bank last night in a vote of 60 to 52. The Anti-Defamation League, or ADL, and the American Jewish Committee, or AJC, both condemned the divisive decision, calling the passage of the bill deeply disappointing. The legalized housing units were built illegally on privately owned Palestinian land, while the Palestinian landowners were absent. Part of the bill also recognizes the need to pay the original landowners up to 125% of the value of their property. The ADL released a statement expressing strong concern over the bill, urging the Israeli government to find alternatives in a manner consistent with both Israeli and international laws. ADL CEO Jonathan A. Greenblatt also released a statement saying, quote, "As an organization with a long history of advocating for the state of Israel both in the United States and internationally, we recognize the complexity of issues relating to Israeli settlements. However, it is imperative that the Knesset recognizes that passing this law will be harmful to Israel's image internationally and could undermine future efforts to achieving a two-state solution," end quote. The passage of this bill comes shortly before Prime Minister Netanyahu's scheduled meeting with United States President Trump in D.C. The White House has as of yet refused to directly comment on the vote. In a series of responses yesterday, the Israeli Defense Forces struck multiple Hamas targets in the Gaza Strip following rocket fire into Israel's south. The IDF responded with tank and plane bombings of Hamas's positions in northern and central Gaza. Targets included a naval base near Jabalia. Gazan officials reported destroyed targets in Gaza City, Khan Yunis, and Juhor ad-Dik. The IDF did not confirm these positions as being specifically targeted. Prime Minister Netanyahu, who was still in his meeting with British Premier Theresa May in London, said that Israel would not tolerate a drizzle of rocket attacks from the Gaza Strip without a response. He said, quote, "My policy is to respond strongly to any rocket fire. We are firm in this response," end quote. In an interview with the Times of Israel, IDF spokesperson Lieutenant Colonel Peter Lerner said the response was to show zero tolerance to attacks from the Gaza Strip, and that the strikes were in response both to yesterday's attacks and previous incidents of rocket and gunfire attacks over the border. 3 members of a Hamas terror cell were indicted yesterday for planning attacks on various sites in northern Israel, including a synagogue in Zichron Yaakov, an army base in the Kfar Kara area, and several bus stations. The Shin Bet security service said the men, who were all from the West Bank, had received their instructions from a Hamas operative in the Gaza Strip via Facebook. 24-year-old Mahmoud Yunis and brothers Hassan and Mohammed Zidat, aged 23 and 25 respectively, were all indicted on security-related charges in Haifa District Court. They were charged with conspiracy to commit a felony, participation in and membership of a terrorist organization, contact with a foreign agent, illegal entry into Israel, and various weapons offenses. According to the indictment, the 3 were planning to kidnap an IDF soldier and use him or her as a bargaining chip. State Comptroller Yosef Shapira said almost half of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's flights abroad during his time as finance minister were double-billed, once by the finance ministry and again by a foreign entity, individual or organization, according to a Channel 10 report. Shapira reportedly maintains that every trip by Netanyahu while he was serving as finance minister showed financial irregularities, such as using excess funds from one aspect of the trip to pay for other parts of it, and Channel 10 said these previously unpublished findings prompted Shapira to ask Attorney General Avichai Mandelblit to open a criminal probe. Mandelblit announced several weeks ago that he was closing a probe of the alleged double billings, apparently because the legal time during which charges could be brought had run out. Netanyahu was never questioned on the alleged findings, and thus had no opportunity to provide his version of the story. Who knew Israel had the largest rhinoceros herd in Europe? And now there's one more. The Ramat Gan Safari Park has announced that Rami, the rhino, a male, was born several days ago following an 18-month pregnancy. Rihanna, his 7.5-year-old mother, originally from South Africa, was mated with 4-year-old Atari. Atari is the dominant male in the crash. The name Rami was chosen for the newborn after Rami Tam, who was supervising the African park for 30 years. Rami is the 29th rhino to be born in the safari. White rhinoceroses are the second largest land mammals in the world, and are the only rhinos that are not classified as endangered, according to the World Wildlife Fund. However, they are considered to be near threatened, as they are susceptible to poachers seeking their horns.
That's all for now. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.